Welcome to another Greater Tax Returns Training Essentials. And in this tutorial, we're going to share a little bit more about some of the documentation you need to sign off on during your orientation process. That's located in your orientation kit, located on the Greater Tax Returns Agent Portal, and or it may have been emailed to you. This verification document to process returns and submitting documents, checklist, and disclaimer is just simply making sure that you are signing off on making sure that you understand the process of the dynamics of processing tax returns. And so let's follow through with this document. It's 4 pages long. Let's start off in the beginning. Basically, you sign off on the top name. Your supervisor, your manager, goes at the top. Name of client, date processed, and filing status. Now, we may not require this for each agent. We just want to make sure that you understand what you need to make sure each client is supposed to provide for you to make it an easy flowing return. Okay, starting at the top, this disclaimer is to acknowledge that you understand the importance of acquiring documents by each client and to comply with the IRS due diligence process. By initialing all aspects of this disclaimer constitutes the understanding of this process. Okay, number one, I understand that all documents that apply to any given return must be submitted to main office or corporate office to ensure no delays to completing and transmitting any return. And we show no favoritism in this. Okay, you have to have all the documents that applies to that return. So if it's a head of household that's employed, you need W-2s, you need health insurance, you need documentation about the kids, social security numbers, birth certificates, just a standard documents, but you need them. You need to make copies, and you need to get them to us. How we expect you to get them to us is to scan them and email them to us, which is the easiest way to do it. You can scan them into your system and upload them, which is something that we're eventually going to resort to full time. You can have your clients take photographs of their documentation and send them to you. However, if they're not legible, we cannot process the return. Okay, because again, if the IRS comes in and they say, okay, I want to do a spot check audit, doesn't mean we did anything wrong. They just want to stop by and they want to look at some returns. Then we want to make sure that we have the proper documentation and everything is clear. Okay, and that's what this next statement talks about, making sure that you understand that when you send us documents, if you send it blurry, then we're not going to take it. And let me just point out, I remember one agent we had, as a matter of fact, a couple, but no more than about 2, 3 at best, that just would not take, get clear documentation. And we know other agents have done this. We know other agents has submitted documentation that is clear, whether or not they had it scanned and emailed, or if the client took a mobile shot of the documentation, their stuff comes in clear. So we expect the same thing from everyone. Okay, so I understand that I cannot, we're on right here, I understand that I cannot show favor regardless of relation to client, and that I must follow the guidelines of proper protocol and due diligence. Listen, we understand that some people want to show favoritism towards their family, but you have to keep in mind that this is kind of a new way of looking at processing returns now. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a lot of the issues that we have today, we didn't have 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. And because of it, we have to take the proper precautions to make sure that each, return is properly processed. So we can have situations where you've got an aunt that's got 8 kids, and then her 2 brothers are claiming 4, and another client, then another brother is claiming 4 just to get that earned income credit, but then we don't have documentation to back all that up. And then the documentation that we do have is shady and and not accurate. So that not only gets the taxpayer in trouble, you are in trouble, and a possibility of us being in trouble, or the greater tax return in trouble, because you decide to make this call. And so, that's why it's important to do this. I'd rather you not risk doing something that not only can get you in trouble legally, and depending on the severity, it could be jail time situation. So you really have to be careful. And I don't care if it's your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, whoever it is, friend, you want to stay, on point, and what you have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have everything you need for each client. And then, of course, we're going to check it. So, okay. So moving on, I have reviewed the IRS due diligence requirements located at this link. Okay, it's a toolkit. I have reviewed and will share with each client the documents you need to send to claim the earned income credit on the basis of a qualifying child. That's one of the documents in one of the videos here that you can just have right there when you connect with a client, especially if you know they're getting an earned income credit. Have that document visible, so you're transparent about what the requirements are for earned income credit. I understand that I must share with earned income credit clients the supporting documents to prove head of household filing status, which is right here. You can download right here. Okay. I understand that when submitting documentation, that the statements above must be submitted to GTR and scanned with the client's file. Okay. So it's just that's basically it's reiterating what I shared with you a little bit ago. I have reviewed and submitted quiz results to GTR of the EITC, which is an earned income credit due diligence best practice training, located at that link, which is the same link as this one right up here. And it's a fun kind of quiz. It's nothing that you'll be graded on, but what it does is it's 75 questionnaire, and it gives you all kinds of examples of how you need to look at clients and making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do properly. And we want the results, good or bad. We want the results, and there's a certificate that you can download. I have read and understand the consequences that I may face and my agency may face by not following the due diligence protocol. And here, right here, are some of the documents that you need to make sure a client, any given client, may need. Now, the client is not going to need all of these documents, but depending on the client situations, you want to make sure they bring in accurate information. How to submit documents. Make legible copies of the documents that apply to any given return. Upload documents into the tax preparation software by clicking on the DM Docs at the top of the navigation bar. Let's see if we can go there right quick. Let's log in, and we can show you how to upload the documents, and or you can email them. But the thing about emailing them is that you want to make sure that your client's information is labeled. I prefer uploading them in this system, and the reason why is because when you have a client, let's take manage this client right here. When you have a client and you upload them in this system on their page, then that's it. These documents actually are connected to these clients, and then from here we can download them to our system, and it just makes it a lot easier. So basically, the client will send you the docs, preferably scanned and emailed and or faxed to you, and we also suggest that you get you a fax number. Okay. Let me see, phone and equipment resources. I thought we had a fax service over here, but we're going to add a fax service over here, so you'll have access to one. efax.com is a great service you can use, and we'll add it right over here. We thought we had it over here, but we'll add it over here, and it's a good fax service that you can utilize. I suggest that you take advantage of that because that way you'll have everything you need. And of course, most agents have a computer and a printer. Get the documents from your client, especially if they're local, and you're able to get the documents and scan them into your printer. If not, have the client fax them to you or take them to the local Kinko's or what have you, printing service, and have that printing service scan them and fax them and or email them to you, and or do a mobile picture of them, but make sure that they are clear. Okay, that's huge. Okay, mobile device, photographic documents. Have a client or yourself using your mobile device hover over documents as close as possible without cropping any of the document or identification or social security card. Client must take a picture of them holding ID next to their face as well and submit it into you, or we cannot process the document. Sending documents to GTR. If you or your client obtains legible images from mobile device, have them to text or email docs to you. Download docs to your computer and upload into the tax preparation software, which we highly recommend. Recheck that you have uploaded clear documentation, and or you can email these docs to us too at Greater Tax Returns. GreaterTaxReturns@gmail.com. No S on returns. Okay. Or info@greatertaxreturns.com is another email that we use too. This is a list of the type of identification you need to look for when you process your clients. Make sure that the address that's on their license matches everything that you're processing. Now, a lot of times a client may have moved, but you can back that up with documents from the kid's school. And if they haven't, they need to go update their license, driver's license. You want to encourage them to do that. Residence verification, here's a list. Proof of child care, okay? And you initial these when you sign off on this. Dependent verification, identification, child custody, proof of business, alternative, and then this is the email, and then please add the following: your name and client name if you email, and the type of documents. Always keep copies, and that's it. Now, consequences of not meeting your due diligence, and we've gone over this before in other, video tutorials, but again, you want to make sure you know this and keep this in mind. If anything happens where there's anything that is not clear or fraudulent, which is hard to commit fraud if it's unintentionally. It has to be intentionally. You have to know that this dependent doesn't belong to this person, and so on and so forth. So, if you do, if the IRS examine the ETI, the earned income credit claims you prepared, and they find you did not meet all 4 diligent requirements, you get a penalty for each failure to comply with the earned income credit. A minimum penalty of $1,000 if you prepare a client's return and IRS finds any part of the amount of the taxes owed is due to an unreasonable position. Okay. A minimum penalty of $5,000 if you prepared a client return and IRS finds any part of the amount of taxes owed is due to your reckless or intentional disregard of the rules. Okay. And that the IRS can also penalize an employer or employing firm if any employee fails to comply with the due diligence requirements. There are only specific circumstances when an employer is subject to the due diligence penalty. And the penalty could be $500 per return. And they adjusted the penalty for taxable years returns beginning in 2015 for cost of living, and the amount is $505. So they done went up $5. So you basically sign off on this, with the understanding that the consequences, and it's just simple. The processing tax returns are simple. All you have to do is stay within the guidelines of the rules. That's it. Okay, because people will approach you and ask you to do favors for them, like, can I claim my cousin's kids, and the kids don't live in their school district, nor do they live in the kids' school district. Things like that. The IRS is a little bit more stringent now. You used to be able to do stuff like that and get away with it, but now it's so much fraud going on. They just stand by the stand by the rules. So thank you for joining me in this video tutorial presentation. We hope to see you in our next presentation, and also connect with us in the next video tutorial.